Hi, my name is Nora and I'm a junior at Carmel High School, and over the next few minutes you're going to hear a story about my family and how important CPR and AED training is and how it can really save a life.
Sunday, April 25th of 2021, I was home playing with Vera. We had just finished having a little bit of dinner, and it broke into kind of a game of tag. So we were chasing around, she chasing me and giggling and squealing. And then all of a sudden, I just heard a thud, and the sound stopped. And I turned back to her and found her laying on the floor. And when I approached her, right, I was waiting for that moment where the kid starts to cry. It became clear to me very quickly that something extra was wrong. Her eyes were open, but not available. When I went to scoop her up, she was limp.
So I was upstairs in my room working on homework on a Sunday night, and I heard my dad yelling, "Nora, Nora!" And I wasn't sure what to think of it. Usually they're playing a game or something, and my dad was yelling, "Call 911, call 911." And by the time I'd gotten downstairs and dialed and gotten talking to someone, my dad was sitting in the kitchen and Vera was laying on the floor.
As Nora was on the phone speaking to the 911 operator and beginning to give them that information in the room, I was starting my version of CPR and compressions.
When I was on the phone, the 911 operator asked for our address, obviously, and started entering it into the system. We were terrified. We didn't really know what happened, so at first we thought Vera may have hit her head, but the 911 operator knew what was going on, and she coached us. She told us everything was going to be okay and that we had people on the way, and stayed on with us the whole time when everything was happening.
I was struck, looking back on it, how much the calm and trained voice of the 911 dispatcher was able to pull us, Nora and I, into doing what we needed to do in those few minutes until the experts with Carmel Fire and the Carmel Police Department were able to be on scene and take over the CPR portion of this and really do what needed to be done in terms of deploying an automated external defibrillator to shock her back into life with us. But those few moments are panicked and crazy, and I'm just thankful that if you get hold of the right people and the right training, they can take care of helping you guide through things.
Nearly 1,000 people suffer out of hospital cardiac arrests every day. During cardiac arrest, chances of survival decreases significantly within the first 3 minutes if CPR is not given. That is why the Carmel Fire Department has initiatives to teach CPR to as many people as we can and to place defibrillators or AEDs in as many public places as possible. Every Carmel police officer is certified in CPR, and they have AEDs in their cars as well. Because the patrol officers are mobile and placed strategically throughout the city, they can sometimes arrive before we even get there. Be sure to follow the Carmel Fire Department on social media or visit our website for more information on these initiatives.
Since Vera's sudden cardiac arrest last spring, she's been diagnosed with a very rare and severe cardiac arrhythmia condition called calmodulopathy. What we know now that we didn't know then is that less than 10% of out-of-hospital cardiac arrests even result in survival, and the number of cognitively intact survival is less than 4%. There's no question in our minds that last spring we lived a miracle where all of the pieces came together perfectly to provide the CPR intervention, the emergency services quickly arriving, and the AED treatment that ultimately revived our daughter's life. As we approach our 1-year anniversary of Vera's sudden cardiac arrest, our family has considered how to best honor our story, our miracle story. of how all of the services and pieces fit together perfectly to result in our daughter being with us still today. And we've reflected on how to best honor that is to really champion and invite our community members, our friends, our family, the people that will surround Vera, and others with perhaps the skills necessary in an emergency situation. We know that our outcome may have been very, very different without immediate and brave CPR intervention that provided Vera with the time and the oxygen to be ready for the professionals to walk in and ultimately save her life. So we invite and petition in honoring Vera and our story, you to learn the same skills that may benefit our little girl or yours at some time in the future.
Now we'll take a moment to show you how easy hands-only CPR can be. And with these simple steps, even you could save a life. If you come across someone that you suspect is in cardiac arrest, you or someone else should call 911 and go get an AED. Then you'll want to check for responsiveness. Sir, can you hear me? Can you hear me? If they are unresponsive, not breathing, or not breathing normally, we'll begin CPR. We'll put them on a hard, flat surface, preferably the floor, so that we can give good compressions. Once they're on that hard, flat surface, we'll take the heel of one hand, place it in the center of the chest, take our other hand, place it over, and begin pressing in the center of the chest. As you compress, be sure to press at least 2 inches deep, allowing the chest to come up every time. We're going to do this at a rate of 100 compressions per minute. We're going to minimize any interruptions to only about 10 seconds. After 2 minutes, we'll reassess. Otherwise, we do not stop CPR unless the patient's gained consciousness, help, or EMS has arrived. Many public buildings, including schools, retail establishments, and other private businesses, have AEDs. Once the AED arrives, you just simply open it and turn it on, and it will begin to tell you exactly what to do. But we'll take a moment to show you as well. Sir, can you hear me? Can you hear me? He doesn't seem to be breathing. You, call 911 and go get an AED. All right, I'm going to begin chest compressions. Place one hand in the center. I'm going to press 2 inches. Allow that chest to come all the way up. Press at least 100 times per minute. Minimize my interruptions to about 10 seconds. You take over CPR. Now I'm going to open my AED. Once we've powered on our AED, we're going to open the pads. We're going to place one pad on the upper right chest and one pad on the lower left chest. Placing these pads correctly is important because of where the heart is located between the two pads. If the pads are not already plugged in, make sure you plug them in to the AED. When following the prompts of the AED, at some point it may or may not choose to deliver a shock. If it does deliver a shock, be sure to be clear of the patient completely before the shock is delivered.